Live from the Plymouth Canton Educational Park.
You're listening to Newsfile at 5:30 on 88.1 The Park.
I'm Akshaya Priya, and in tonight's news, PCEP management team members dominate the state, and a longtime Canton police officer calls it a career.
Now, for the latest news that matters in your community.
Plymouth Canton Educational Park students served up a first-place restaurant design at a statewide hospitality competition and will move on to nationals later this month. Montana Guy and Madeline White, seniors at PCEP, competed in the Michigan Pro Star Invitational in March, where they created and designed a restaurant concept called Eve, which would be a women-owned establishment focusing on eco-friendly practices and seasonal menus, while also putting an emphasis on giving back to the community. The inspiration for this idea came from the strong females in their families. With the national competition coming up, Guy and White have been practicing presentations and receiving feedback from their instructors, Diana Woodward and Polly Brown. Salem senior Montana Guy says her love for cooking and people is a big part of her passion for culinary arts.
I love cooking, home cooking, but I also love cooking for other people and just seeing that smile on their faces. And that's why I'm also in the culinary class. Even Woody, she has definitely put a big impact on how I see the culinary field. And I'm just honestly excited to get out there and learn new things and be able to create my own thing one day. It's definitely just an adventure that I want to embark in.
PCEP's culinary team finished in second place at the state competition. Guy and White will move forward to the National Pro Star Invitational, which will take place April 26th to the 28th in Baltimore, Maryland, where they will compete against nearly 400 students from across the country. The Canton Police Department is saluting longtime Community Relations Officer Patricia Esselink after the 23-year veteran announced her retirement from the force. Officer Esselink began her career with Canton Police in 2001 as a patrol officer before moving to the department's Detective Bureau in 2013, receiving numerous awards for her work in both posts. In 2015, Officer Esselink would become Canton Township's Community Relations Officer, a position she would hold for 9 years. In the community relations role, she developed educational programs for the community Esselink worked with, schools, and religious organizations to help build safe environments for learning and worship, and was known for helping community members in need. For the final 6 years of her career, Esselink combined her community relations work with work as a department training instructor. Canton Township Director of Police Services Chad Baugh says Officer Esselink bridged the gap between the police department and the community.
One thing I'm thinking of right now is her going way above and beyond to ensure a family that was in crisis, that didn't have a place to live, to help provide an environment where the mother was able to have child care and helped her find a job and all that. Just done behind the scenes. She's an exceptional person and a police officer. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Patty.
Baugh says Esselink plans to spend more time with her family in retirement. The aftermath of an East Coast earthquake tops our look at world and national news tonight. Engineering teams are out in force assessing the damage after this morning's 4.8 magnitude earthquake in New Jersey. New York Governor Kathy Hochul said the teams are looking for any structural damage to subways, buildings, and other areas. There are no reports of injuries or damage. The earthquake was felt throughout the Northeast, all the way from Pennsylvania up to Boston. Tensions are rising between special counsel Jack Smith and the judge presiding over Donald Trump's classified documents case. In a court filing this week, Smith questioned Judge Aileen Cannon's request to prosecutors and defense lawyers to submit proposed jury instructions considering Trump's argument the Presidential Records Act allowed him to keep classified material after leaving office. Smith said Cannon's request was based on a fundamentally flawed legal premise and called on her to rule on whether the argument can be considered during trial. Israel has fired 2 military officers for their role in a deadly attack on an aid convoy in Gaza this week. The strike, which killed 7 workers with the DC-based food charity World Central Kitchen, drew international outrage. Israel says a probe into the attack found that commanders misidentified the vehicles and assumed they were Hamas terrorists. The monthly jobs report is surpassing expectations. The Labor Department reports the economy added 303,000 new jobs in March, far exceeding the 200,000 most analysts had forecast. The unemployment rate saw little change, coming in at 3.8%. For Newsfile at 5:30, I'm Akshaya Priya Sarvanan. Your look at campus news is next.
Your place for Plymouth Canton Community Schools updates.
It's campus news.
In campus news, Plymouth Canton Community Schools is happy to announce that kindergarten registration for the 2024-2025 school year is open for all students living within district boundaries. P-CCS offers an exceptional and innovative education to students of all ages, including traditional kindergarten and Young Fives kindergarten for students who will turn 5 years old on or before December 1st. More information is available at pccsk12.com. Congratulations to PCEP's Lightning Robotics. They won their district competition last week with a perfect record of 17 wins and no losses. The team's win set the stage for them to compete at the upcoming state competition. Lightning Robotics also won the first Impact Award. It recognizes the program as a team other teams should emulate. Applications are now open for southeastern Michigan families looking to give their students a P-CCS education through the district's limited Schools of Choice program. The program, which is open to students in Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, Monroe, and Washtenaw counties, will see a maximum of 500 kindergarten through 10th grade students admitted based on available capacity in P-CCS schools. The deadline to apply is April 13th, and more information is available at pccsk12.com. For Campus News, I'm Akshaya Priya Sarvanan. Your look at sports is next.
Football, baseball, basketball, hockey.
It's time for Newsfile at 5:30 Sports. The Plymouth Wildcats and Salem Rock girls soccer teams battled to a 1-1 tie last night. Salem's Elaine Rahman got the scoring started in the first half. Plymouth's Kendall Elmy tied the game up in the second half on a goal assisted by Reagan Flaharty. The Rocks are on the road tonight to take on Livonia Stevenson. The Wildcats are on the road tomorrow to take on Dexter. The Tigers came out of their home opener with a 5-4 win over the Oakland A's. It was Detroit's 6th win of the season. Tarek Skubal got the start but gave up 4 runs, including home runs in the 6th and 7th inning. The Tigers scored the game winner on the 8th following doubles from Spencer Torkelson and Gio Urshela. Jason Foley picked up the win, his second this year. The Red Wings open up a huge 3-game homestand tonight against the New York Rangers at LCA. The Sabres and Capitals will also visit during the stand. The Wings enter the night just 1 point behind the Islanders for the final wildcard spot in the East. The Caps are also just 1 point back in the wildcard race. Michigan State is losing senior center Matty Sissoko. He has entered the transfer portal and will have 1 year of eligibility remaining. Sissoko averaged just 3.1 points and 5.1 rebounds in 35 games this past season for the Spartans, which included 26 starts. The NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament Final Four begins tonight at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. The tournament's number 1 overall seed South Carolina plays 3 seed NC State at 7 p.m. Paige Beckers and 3 seed UConn square off against Caitlin Clark and 1 seed Iowa at 9 p.m. The national championship is set for Sunday. For sports news, I'm Andy McLaren. Your look at traffic and weather is next.
From M14 to I-94. Your look at traffic starts now.
We've got a smooth ride heading into the weekend. All of the freeways in the 88-1 The Park listening area are moving at or near posted speeds. That's all for traffic. Your look at weather is next.
88.1 The Park with your local weather forecast.
Look for clearing skies tonight with a low of 34. We'll have mostly sunny skies tomorrow with a warmer high of 54. Right now in Plymouth Canton, it's 46 degrees under cloudy skies. On your source for the best local news, 88.1 The Park. For Andy, I'm Akshaya Priya on Newsfile at 5:30. Stick around, Plymouth and Canton's hit music is next.